So today is day 4 of the apple cider vinegar test. Now I've really noticed that my nasal breathing has gotten better, and I have alluded to this in the previous videos, but specifically today was the first time in a long time where I've woken up and it's not just that I can feel that I don't need to breathe through my mouth. It can go through my nose properly. But it's also, I woke up with a kind of buzziness to my voice, which is a lot better because usually I'll wake up and it's very, very crackly. It's like this, like that in the morning. But it seemed to have a nicer and warmer, buzzier sound, which is great because generally when I have a buzzier sound, whether it's in the shower or something after a steaming hot shower, I typically sing better, and you'll probably find the same when you do that. Now, in terms of the apple cider vinegar itself, I would definitely recommend not preparing to do exercise within half an hour at least of taking the apple cider vinegar, because you do feel it on your stomach. And I know I'm taking quite a lot. I'm taking one shot, which is 50 milliliters in the morning, and one in the evening. And while that is half what I was doing before, the reason is because I had a pretty bad reaction to it on day 2, so I've cut down to one shot in the morning, one shot in the evening. But yeah, it's not really feasible to do exercise directly after, because your stomach is definitely getting used to the feeling of having lots of acid just suddenly come in there. Now, in terms of why does apple cider vinegar work as a potential remedy for acid reflux in the long term, is that you're trying to supplement your low stomach acid that you have. So if you have low stomach acid, then your body doesn't digest food properly, so it can ferment there and comes back up with a weak lower esophageal sphincter, which is caused by things like starch, carbohydrates and sugar, processed foods, things like that. So there's two things. One is I'm trying to increase the amount of stomach acid that I have so I can digest my food properly, so it doesn't sit there and ferment. And the second thing is I'm doing the dieting stuff with the low carb diet, so that I can tighten up the connection between the esophagus and the stomach, so that even if there was still lots of food left in my stomach which is undigested because I have low stomach acid, even then, if I've got a tight sphincter, it's less likely to go up and cause all sorts of inflammation in my throat and in my nose. And when I went to the ENT recently, they diagnosed me with reflux, although I actually suspected that I had it already. Now, what you're going to see in the ENT video that was done when I was there, and bear in mind this is probably a little bit gory for some people, so look away now if you're not wanting to see this sort of thing. But what you can see in the video is you've got my vocal cords here, which come together really, really nicely. The only problem is the things that are connected to them, the arytenoid cartilages, I believe they're called. As you can see, they're kind of using a lot of force to come together. Now, the vocal cords themselves are actually really healthy, and that's because obviously I do a lot of voice exercise every single day. But the things that are kind of in control of them are these arytenoid cartilages. And if they're kind of squeezing together like that, they're really they basically need a lot of force. And this is caused by having this, basically having this acid reflux, which is causing the irritation in the throat, because then your throat is kind of spasming. It's kind of like, oh, I need to get rid of whatever's in there. And if you've got acid reflux, you'll know that it feels like you've got something stuck in your throat the whole time, which is why you can't make a good resonant sound. Now, I know that a lot of people suffer from acid reflux. I'm pretty sure it's about 10% in the US. And I mean, you can adjust that for each country, but it's probably going to be somewhere similar. Now, if you've got reflux and you're like me and you've had it for a long, long time, bear in mind I'm only 24. There are some people who've had it for 15, 20 years going on. So I can't complain in that sense. But you'll basically kind of be so acclimatized to having reflux that you don't kind of realize that something's wrong. The only reason I found out that I had reflux in the first place was because I had all this nasal inflammation, and I was wondering, why can't I get that down? Like, if you think about thousands of years ago with our ancestors, they wouldn't have had all this inflammation because they're not having these processed foods. They're not having all these carbs from sugary products. So it kind of was dawning on me. It's like humans are not designed to have these problems. The reason you get inflammation is because your body is reacting to something that shouldn't be there. So in order to go down a more holistic approach, I'm trying things out like apple cider vinegar as a remedy. I'm trying things like the nasal rinse with seawater, with salt. And I mean, I found that, and I was pretty skeptical, honestly, of doing the sinus rinses. But there was a time recently where I went to the beach every single day, and we don't live that close to the beach, so it was about an hour and a half to get there. But I thought, no, I'm going to go every single day. And after 1 week, my skin was a lot clearer, my breathing was a lot better. So I'm totally convinced, I must say, that seawater is good for you. And I definitely plan to live by the sea one day, if possible, so that I can really get rid of this nasal inflammation. But yeah, I guess the idea is that if you have a holistic approach, you try and think about what would our ancestors have done thousands of years ago. They probably wouldn't have had the same amount of inflammation that we do now, which seems pretty ridiculous considering all the advancements in science and technology that we have these days. But there we go. That's the situation. So yeah, that's a little bit about what reflux is and what it can do to your throat and your sinuses. And I mean, in terms of the reflux, has it gone yet? Still, no, it hasn't. But I'm expecting some good improvements in the actual voice clarity and seeing quality. Hopefully in the next 3 to 4 days, because that will be about a week after having taken it every day. And I mean, I saw this video, and I think it was by Serious Keto, and he said after 17 to 18 days, his reflux was actually gone. So I guess in lots of things you're having to trust these people, but I mean, I'm testing this out for myself, so we'll see if that's actually going to come true. I did once watch this video where someone fasted for 3 to 4 days and their reflux was gone. So I did the same thing and my reflux wasn't gone. So I guess it's a case-by-case basis often. Although, I mean, that guy was on a carnivore diet and I wasn't doing it at the time. So who knows? Maybe if I'd been doing a carnivore diet in the lead up to that 3-day, 4-day fast, potentially I would have got better results. But yeah, that's what this channel is for. It's for testing things out, so that if I can get some good results, I can share them with you guys and hopefully stop you going through the frustrations that I've been going through trying to make it as a singer when you've got reflux, because it's pretty much impossible as it stands. But I'm not giving up, and I'll keep updating you day by day. Thanks for watching.